Hey guys, we're back for another Coalitions Getting Coffee during COVID. Today I have with me April Cox. She is the new high school principal for Kilgore High School. Ms. Cox, how are you doing?
Hey, Rebecca, I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited that we're highlighting you today. Like we were just talking about, you were one of the very first coalition members. I remember I reached out to you and said, this is what the coalition is doing. And you said, come on, let's just meet on the campus. So I was really, really excited about that. And thank you just again for being so open to the coalition working on your campus.
Definitely. I have enjoyed my time with you and getting to be a part of such a great partnership that ultimately benefits our students. So it's been a win-win for both of us.
Yeah. So let's start off with just like a silly question. We want to, everybody's so stressed during this time. We want to keep this lighthearted. So let's start with, what is your favorite TV show or movie?
Okay, so I'm kind of a classic gal, and so looking back at just the old movies that I love to watch, that I try to tell my children about, that we need to watch. So, I mean, I'll even go back to something as like Still Magnolias, or A Few Good Men, or Top Gun. I think all of those are so important to kind of continue that. I will be very honest, it is difficult for me to find a lot of time to get involved in a series, or to really even go to the movie theater, unfortunately, and watch some new releases. And so I feel so out of it on what's out there. So really, I don't know, it's hard for me to even think about different movie or TV shows that are on. If it's on, then I will find myself watching it. But I will tell you, I'm an avid sports watcher. So I love college football. And so that's probably my thing. So if you see me watching TV and it's the fall and it's a Saturday or a Thursday, you're probably going to see some kind of college football on TV. So that's really my thing. And I hope we get to start watching that soon.
I was going to say, this is so hard for sports fans right now. Hopefully in the fall we'll get back to enjoying some more sports.
Yes.
For me, probably, my favorite TV show has been Downton Abbey for a long time.
Okay.
It's like when I'm having a bad day.
Yeah.
Or if I've been rewatching a couple episodes now just because it's so soothing to me. At this point, I feel like those characters are my friends. So, but yeah, I love that we all have our own little individual things that we like to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So, as I said, you've been a coalition member for a long time. What are some of the things you like about what the coalition does?
Yeah, so one of the, I think, best parts about what we've been able to transform that coalition group into is meeting with adults now into meeting with students. So getting to hear from our students the things that are important to them, because we all know they know best what's happening. We can all pretend to know what motivates them or know what struggles they're facing today, but we've been out of middle school or high school for some of us 25 years for myself. So it's one of those things that one of the things I enjoy best is getting to bring them in, hear their voice. That is so important to hear, and it's powerful. And then from there, getting to make those decisions and drive the vision of our coalition based upon what they are saying. And so talking about some of my favorite parts of the coalition, obviously I love everything that the coalition stands for. And when I say partnership, that is truly what I see it as. It is a partnership to come alongside us. And I've always talked about academics are obviously a huge part of why we're here. But most importantly, I feel like it is our job to educate that whole child. And you hear about the whole child approach. It's just vital that we know that there's this hierarchy of needs, that our learners can't truly even focus on the academic parts of the day-to-day things. If there are other needs that have not been met, and it goes something simple called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's a true thing. And so we have these social emotional needs. We have, if our students are involved in drug use, that's ultimately going to affect their academic stance here at school. And so we want to get them in it as involved as we can. And so being able to partner with the coalition has given us that education, that awareness of being able to hopefully get on the forefront of some of these things. And I'll give the example, vaping, or even K2, for example. We started hearing about that before it became a larger deal, so that we were able then to push out resources, push out some speakers that were able to come in and provide that awareness before it became as large of a deal as it was, in a hope to eliminate or curb some of that desire to want to participate in that. So that was all from students. That was from being able to have surveys. So obviously I can go on and on about the coalition, but that has been a great part of our educational environment, is being able to meet those other needs. I mean, we have teachers here that are great also at meeting the needs of our students beyond just the academic realm, but having a very directed approach. It's very targeted, being able to determine those exact needs of our students and what they're facing, and then be able to plug in. That's just beautiful. And I think that's what our schools need. We need partnerships like the coalition, and there's other areas that I just feel like that there's some great opportunities there that we need to make sure that we're using. So what do they say? It takes a village, Rebecca. And so it definitely takes a village. So yeah, sorry, I could go on and on with that question.
No, I love that you're passionate about your students, and I love that you mentioned K2, because that was really one of the first things that we worked on together, was bringing in Emily and her telling her story about using K2, and that was so powerful for the Kilgore students and the parents as well. So that was one of the things I'm really proud of that we worked on together, and I do feel like our coalition does a really good job of seeing that substance abuse can impact so many different parts of a student's life. And I love that the student involvement that you've mentioned, and now with vaping, we are getting so much insight from these students with how do we get the attention of your peers? What are some good incentives that we can use to keep them from using vaping? What are some important things that they need to know? And we get all that insight from students. So I really like that we're able to work on that together.
Yeah.
So I know this, as I said, has been a hard time for everybody, but do you think there's any silver lining to coming out of this, maybe for students or for staff?
Yeah, so I mean, we definitely want to believe that there is a learning experience that comes out of every challenge or obstacle that we've had to face. And so my hope is that this has forced that additional family time, that communication, getting back to those, slowing down life a little bit. And as uncomfortable as it was, and we were forced to do that rather quickly and our lives kind of felt like they came to a halt. I was convicted myself at so many things that we placed ourselves to be involved in, and just my poor children have not really got to be children because we're so involved and going, which is really good. But at the same time, just having dinner together every night, or which leads to that communication, those things I think are hopefully those habits that we'll always keep a priority in our lives, and really reevaluate what we're involved with, and is that really a need, or can we start continuing to make our family time more of a priority instead of everyone being torn and gone. So that's really my personal conviction. Looking in school, I think that it's forever changed the way that we have had to teach. And I hope that what's come out of that is you have those teachers that are very confident and comfortable in administering instructional methods or delivering instructional methods digitally. But you also have those that have been really reserved about it. But essentially overnight, we had to get trained and go. We use Google Classroom here as a platform, as an option. We also still do paper version of our learning resources for our students, for those that don't have computer access or internet capabilities. But we as educators have had to change the way that education has been taught in a traditional setting for 200 plus years overnight. So I think it's forever impacted us and potentially changed the way that we now see opportunities. Think about a learner that's sick or had to have surgery. Now we can deliver this at-home instruction, and we can still connect to our students even when they're not there's. It's just the potential's now really broadened, and so yes, there's some silver linings in it. We've got to stay focused to those silver linings, because if not, we can really get down about everything that's happening. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think it will change a lot of things for sure. And I do think there will be some things that change for the better. So, but I am looking forward to being in person with everybody again. What are some things that you're looking forward to when life returns to normal?
Yeah. So there are those just things I think we take for granted, that we can go see family members that we haven't been able to see. I have a grandmother that's 83 and a big part of our life, and I'm ready just to be able to give her a big hug. You know, it's those little things. I also am, as you know, I'm a human. I like human touch. I like to hug. I like to shake hands. I did an interview with someone today, and I felt so stoic not being able to go and shake their hand. I just feel rude, you know. And so I am ready to be able to do a pat on the back or a handshake or give my grandmother a big hug and kiss. Those things I miss tremendously. And so I'm ready for that to happen soon.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So, as I mentioned, this is Coalitions Getting Coffee.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you have a favorite mug, but I brought one of mine in honor of Mother's Day. It says, "I'm a mom. What's your superpower?" I got that from my mother-in-law, I think on my first Mother's Day. So, it always gives me a little confidence boost when I need it. Do you have a favorite mug or a favorite coffee?
Okay, so I don't. I actually was told yesterday that my child ordered a mug that was black, but when you put coffee in it, it comes up with your family picture on there.
Oh,
So excited because he thought I would love it. He was just going to give it to me. And it was a black mug, and then whenever I poured my coffee, I was going to be surprised. But it was a scam, and so it was horrible. And so after having to cancel our debit card, poor thing, he asked his dad, and my husband was like all about it. And so we don't have debit cards right now because of that. I went at school. I'll show you. My teachers gave me this, and sometimes I drink with it, but it just says "keep calm." I'm the principal. I don't
I love
know
it.
if you keep calm or not some days, but they actually gave me that as a joke. But no, I have I like to kind of have different coffee mugs. You know, there's some people that have all the same and they look so nice, and when they open up their cabinet, they're just all. I'm kind of mine have come from everywhere, so I don't really know if I have a favorite one. I'll tell you a coffee story since we're on it though. I always said my best mornings are those that I can drink coffee from a real mug, because I actually get to have a real cup sitting at home, usually watching the sun come up in some capacity. And so I have been able to have coffee out of a real mug lately a lot more. And so that has been really nice. On the other mornings, I just am one of those to-go cup coffee girls. And so that's when I can tell it's going to be a great day, is if I get a real mug of coffee. So,
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm with you on all the different mugs.
okay.
And I'm so sorry about your son's. It's the thought that counts, right? That's very sweet.
It really was. I guess Mother's Day coming up, he saw it advertised and was all about it. And I guess they're a sucker for things that I love, which is a good thing. But yeah, so they get a message back that something was from Hong Kong, China. And so we started getting weird things happening to our account yesterday. So I'm like, but that probably would have been my favorite mug.
Yes. Well, it's a great story, and I'm glad you have such thoughtful children. um, is there anything else that you would like to add about your work or about the coalition?
So I am closing out a chapter after 9 years of being here at Kilgore Middle School, and it has definitely been one of the best career experiences that I've had We've made a lot of growth. Our teachers are so nurturing, and they're just an amazing group of educators. But like with anything, you start getting the stirring to do something else. And so I had an opportunity come available to apply for a position still within our district. And so that's great. I received the position and accepted it. And so I'm going to be starting as the principal at Kilgore High School, which is going to be a little different challenge and role, just getting to know the teachers, the staff, their current systems that they have in place. And so I'm kind of splitting my time between campuses right now, and hopefully we'll be able to transition in about 3 weeks. So that's going to be really neat. And they're going to be able to continue the traditions of excellence and just Kilgore in general has such rich traditions, and I know that that is going to continue here at Kilgore Middle School and sustain all the great things that have currently happened, because we have great people, educators that are going to make sure it does. So yeah, so time to turn the page in the chapter. So it'll be interesting to do, but getting to learn all over again. I think that's been the challenge. I feel like I'm back to having to ask a lot of questions where people were asking me all the questions. The roles have been reversed where I'm having to figure it all out, but it's good.
Well, I think you're going to do great. And I so appreciate you allowing us to have our meetings at the middle school and all the good work that we've been able to do. And that we have a strong foundation there now. And I can't wait to get started with you at the high school. I think it's going to be great.
I would love to. We've got definitely, I think, still a continuation, and we need to continue this there. I mean, our students here, like those that have been on the task force or getting to work through KBAD, which is Kilgore Bulldogs Against Drugs, that's going pretty strong there. And so we just need to sustain that foundation that they've started there and keep building upon it and supporting them in any way that we can to keep that going. So yeah, sounds great. I can't wait to continue working with you.
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a great day. Thank you, Rebecca.